Evening, everyone. Welcome back. Day number 3. I thought it was Tuesday today for some reason, but anyway, it's not. We're a day ahead. So day number 3, and today we're going to go through multiplying content. And this is where the systems and the processes start to kick in. There have been about 4 or 5 years left videos on the group, so still quite short of the 50 odd people that were on last night. So some people still got a bit of stage fright, but that's okay. It is a first draft, a learning curve, and you've got to get comfortable with these things. For anybody that's maybe not comfortable putting the videos out in the open space just yet, what I would recommend is just shooting some videos on your phone and watching them back. And just getting comfortable with listening to your own voice on video and seeing yourself and your mannerisms, which you don't normally see. And then once you get comfortable with that and you start perfecting it a bit more, then obviously you should be able to get more comfortable putting out there. But as I say all the time, imperfect action's better than no action. So the sooner you can do it, the better. You are going to need to shoot videos to be able to go through the next stage of this, which I'm going to go through tonight, and then that's going to help you repurpose your content onto loads of different channels. But it is a learning curve, and all credit to those that put themselves out there, jumped on and put a video up in a group. You've done what probably 99% of people will never do, because they're so afraid of what other people might think. Now, if you want to make a difference in your business and you want to make a difference in your life, you've really not got to give a fuck what anyone else thinks. And, I'm quite passionate about that, because I see so many people getting held back by what others think. And if they could just get rid of that, they move so much further and they go so much faster. And that's why it's really important to surround yourself with the right people who are going on the same journey, and that's why I put all my students into communities where they're all heading for the same thing and they all complement each other, and that works incredibly well. That's why I network in certain places now. That's why I don't bother with some of my older friends now, because they're not a good fit for me anymore, and that's life. And you've got to sometimes wake up and you've got to sometimes just make those decisions. If you're letting somebody hold you back because of, what they might write on your post, then they are not the right person for you to be networking with or hanging around with or even having in your life. Okay. So bit of motivation there for you, and a bit of reality check of what you're going to need to do if you do want to push through this. If you are maybe, a bit fearful of doing that, but trust me, you're going to need to do it. I mentioned yesterday, I do think videos are going to become the marketing tool of the future if they aren't already really. So you're going to have to get good at it, and it takes time, it takes practice. Everyone that's done it, fantastic first draft. I thought they were all great, and well done for doing that. So the first part of today, so day 3, is about multiplying content. What I mean by that is we're going to take one piece of content, which was the video. And, as we've built through this, we've got our scripts, we've got our videos, and then we've shot our video and we've got to this point. So what's next? How do we multiply content? Okay. So there's a wonderful tool called rev.com. If you haven't heard of it, what you can basically do is you can upload your videos and you can upload your audio files as well. So if you don't want to shoot videos, but you do want to get a lot of content down, then you can upload audio files, and they will basically, it goes off to a call center in, I don't know, I think it's India or Pakistan or somewhere like that. And they will type your video and they come back extremely quick, very professional, and they pretty much word for word are written. Obviously, there's a few mistakes every now and then, but that's fine, because what we do is we cut it up anyway. So, but we get the bones of it. So if I shoot a 13-minute video, I can upload it, and within about 10 minutes, I'll have that back transcribed on a Word document, which we then download, and then we take into multiple streams, and we repurpose it, and it is just such a great tool. So first thing is take a video and then put it into rev.com and get it transcribed. Now, what do we do with it? So where do we put it? We've got Instagram, which is typically a picture format based platform with video at the minute, video creeping in more and more, but I would say the majority of it is probably 75% videos. And then the base content of the story, I think you're allowed something like 300 words, and then you're allowed 30 hashtags. Really important that they are keyword driven and that your hashtags are also searchable driven, because that's how you get recognized. That's how you build your profiles. That's how you get into people's worlds and they start to see your content. We've then got TikTok. TikTok is something that I've just recently gone on to. I had a little go of it a while ago, didn't really understand it, thought it was for just the kids. And I'm clearly, unfortunately, not a kid anymore. So I didn't really do anything with it. But the more I hear about it, the more I see what's going on, and the more I'm always keeping my eye on what's the next big thing for marketing. I think that's really important to try and stay ahead of the game. I probably should have committed to it about 6-7 months ago when I initially set the account up. Didn't, only posted a few videos, but I have been back on, and we are going to start playing in this field. It is crazy the number of views that these videos are getting out there. You know, property people with like 200,000, 300,000, sometimes millions of views on very simple, very basic videos. So TikTok is definitely going to be a strategy that we're going to start, or have started already, albeit just recently, putting content out on. If you're one of the cool kids already and you're already on the platform and you've already got a presence on there, great, start leveraging it. Facebook groups. I am a massive fan of Facebook. I couldn't thank Mark Zuckerberg enough. I've built my entire business on Facebook. It started on Facebook. It continues to grow on Facebook. And as long as they'll still have me, I will continue to use it on Facebook. So Facebook for the entrepreneurs and the people who understand how it works is a business media platform. It is today's newspaper. So, you know, you can use it in so many different ways. Most people, 95% of people, use it as a social platform. They use it for networking, and they mainly use it for, you know, showing screenshots of their food and, you know, other things like that that don't really do anything for them, networking with their friends that they've maybe not seen since school, things like that. They're not in tune with it as a business platform. We live in this bubble where we've got some really cool groups, you know, the property groups, obviously my group, other groups that are out there as well, which are awesome and allows us to network. So we kind of come into this little property bubble and we end up living in it. So we forget about what it was once like. But for the best part of, you know, since Facebook launched and probably 10 years after that, you know, I was like the masses and just, you know, socialized on it, you know, spent hours on it and like everyone else does. But switch your frame of mind on Facebook, start using it as a real business marketing tool, get rid of all the people that aren't going to benefit your business or your life, and start promoting yourself on and your business is on this. So we've got Facebook groups, we've got a Facebook page, which obviously you can promote, and you have your own Facebook profile. I personally get more off my Facebook profile than I get off my Facebook page. And I also get a lot from my Facebook groups and continue to grow those groups. And I also get a lot from other people's Facebook groups. So, but with other people's Facebook groups, there's a strategy in that to make sure you, A, don't get kicked out, and B, you don't become just a douchebag that's just pitching stuff and not adding any value. You know, we've talked about it all week about the level of pitching versus, you know, the level of content that you've just got to deliver, and it should be around a 20-80 ratio. So 20% pitching for every 80% worth of content that you deliver. So that's how you've got to perform. But if you do it correct, and the post that we wrote on day one, and then how we're going to multiply the content on the videos from the titles that we did yesterday, and obviously future titles that you'll put together, future content posts that you'll put together from your content tree, you can then start to put this valuable content in all of these places. And I'm going to show you how to do that today and tomorrow. And, you know, it becomes a real powerful marketing tool for you and your business. Obviously, we've got emails. So from the content we create, we can do email blasts through, you know, various CRM platforms, loads of great ones. I personally use ActiveCampaign, and it works incredibly well for us. You do have YouTube. You can set up a YouTube channel very easily. You can start posting content on there. To give you an idea of how powerful YouTube is, I had Jack from on my podcast down South Coast, I believe he lives, and he has, at the time of the podcast about 6 months ago, he has 14,000 views on his YouTube channel. He actually gets paid now off YouTube for various marketing, sponsored ads, things like that, because he's over that 10,000 subscriber mark. He has one property. He's done nothing but one BRR deal, but he documented the whole journey. and his YouTube channel blew up. You know, he now gets invites. He's now got JV partners wanting to work with him. He's got investors wanting to work with him because he's only a young kid, you know, but he put his neck out there. He documented his journey and he shot some great YouTube videos. And, you know, now he's what you would say YouTube star. I know how hard it is to build a YouTube channel. It's something that I haven't massively focused on, but even since we have started focusing on it, it takes a long time to build it unless you can get some quick traction on videos. But he nailed it. He got consistent with it, and then it started to scale and take off. You know, but don't expect to get instant results from it. Use it as a platform that you commit to, you turn up daily, and, you know, you post your videos on. Blogs, you can obviously repurpose your video content or your, you know, and put it on the blogs in various different ways. You can write it, you can break it down. And again, I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. LinkedIn, another great platform. So LinkedIn is probably more of a business tool. So I certainly use my LinkedIn profile more for trying to attract developers and investors and sort of networking in that circle, as opposed to Facebook, which is a bit more for my personal profiles, more for the coaching side of the business and, you know, helping you guys, you know, move forward on your journey. And then the Facebook page for the company is kind of where I use for growing the property company business. Whereas my LinkedIn profile, I use more to probably grow the property side of the business. And we have strategies behind the scenes to do that, to connect with the right people, using, you know, they've got some awesome tools. But ultimately, I have to be delivering the content to keep in people's feeds, to, you know, the right hashtags, the right keywords, the right, you know, written articles. So it, you know, it grabs the attention, and we're talking, you know, a bit like the cold and the warm and the hot stuff that we talked about yesterday. It's got to be, you know, grabbing attentions. It's got to be bringing people into my world, getting them into the messenger inbox. And then obviously we can have a conversation about how we could potentially be a good fit. And that's all we're trying to do here with all this, you know, amount of marketing. And everyone will have different ways of using it. You know, you will have different ways of using it. I'm not saying Facebook profile can't be used for your property business, because that's how I started. You know, I did start with my Facebook profile was my property business, you know, for the best part of probably 2 years. And, you know, it's only probably in the last year that it's shifted. But what I have done is I haven't stopped it. I've just shifted it and I've moved it to something that serves me better. Developers and high net worth investors, they play on LinkedIn. So the natural shift is to go from, you know, the single dwelling type landlords that'll hang around on Facebook to where the developers are hanging out, because that's how my business has gone, you know, as we're scaling. So you will have a shift as you go through, but, you know, you as a starting point, Facebook for me is an absolutely incredible tool. And finally, Instagram stories, which ties back in Instagram, little 15-second stories. You would be surprised on the number of views Instagram stories get versus your content that you post as pictures. Instagram stories are very, very powerful, and you should be using them every single day. You know, sometimes you should be dropping as many as 15 to 20 Instagram stories on some days, especially if you're, you know, maybe you've got a day booked of viewings, you know, literally 15 seconds on every viewing. Just, you know, I'm here, bang, 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 next one, driving, you know, stopping for a Starbucks, whatever it might be. Just document like the day in the life of a property investor, you know, doing the search and doing the deal source. Stuff like that really captures people's attention, you know, and it really helps you get out there. With Instagram stories as well, you can do quirky little 15-second videos. Might just help that confidence level with shooting the bigger videos, you know. So it all is just this sort of building of this mental toughness to get on video. I know how daunting video is, and that's why I keep going on about it. So again, if anyone's got any questions, please just bang them in the chat, or wait till the end and bang them in the chat and we'll come on to them. The type of posts that we do, so there's various different types of posts that we can do, and we should then split this one piece of content in. So rev.com is going to produce us a transcript. So to start off with, we had to do the video, and then we've rev.com'd it and we've got the transcript. Now it's about how we repurpose it across all the channels that we've just discussed, and then what type of posts we can come up with from that one transcript. So first one is quote cards. When you have your transcript in front of you, just get a highlighter out, go down this transcript and just highlight anything that you feel you've said that could be a quote. Could be a sentence, could be a couple of words together. And you'd be surprised how many quotes you can actually pull out of a transcript of a video, especially if it's a 13-minute long video. So what you would then do is you'd create a quote card in Canva, very simple quote card. Just jump on my Instagram, you'll see them all the time, and they are just pulled from some of the videos I've done and some of the stuff that I've said. Same for the Luke Holmes Instagram or the Luke Holmes Facebook page. You'll see quotes on there, and that's some videos that I've done, and we're just, those quotes have come out during those videos. So that's step number one of one type of content that you can create for your social media. You can then use those quote cards in multiple different channels, multiple different times, as much or as little as you want, basically, and you'll find your feet with it, what's resonating, what's not resonating. You can get quite clever with the quote cards that you can actually then pull some more of the transcript out as either a post for the description element. If you're going to put a quote card as a picture on Instagram, for example, you could then pull out more of a condensed bit of the transcript in the description with some good hashtags to try and just toughen that post up, give it more strength, and make sure that it gets more engagement. Because everything we're doing here is just about engagement. I'm not saying this is going to instantly generate leads and people say, oh, yeah, I'm in, sign me up for your service. It's just we're building that engagement, we're getting that consistency, we're doing it on a daily basis, and we're getting through to people in the cold, the warm, and the hot audience phases. Next bit is top tips. So again, very similar to your quote cards, you will go through your transcript and you're looking for kind of top tips. So even if it's not a 5 things you must know about, renting to a bad tenant or something like that, you will still naturally start coming out with some top tips that, are basically the benefits of your service. You can snip them into top tips. You can put them as just a simple transcribed document with a bit of extra wording around it to make it flow. You can pull them out and put them into sort of quote card type styles. You could, condense it right down. If you have a video producer or a good video editing software, you could potentially cut out the sections of the video that you have your top tips and condense a 13-minute video down to 2 minutes and then put that on IGTV. You could potentially condense it down to 15 seconds per tip, bang it on Instagram stories. So this is why this is how you repurpose content, and it all starts with a video, and then you take it and you just then can do so many different things with it. Next thing is, obviously, if you want to start a YouTube channel, you could, and then you could, use your video as a how-to. Your video doesn't have to be a how-to, by the way. You just create a thumbnail and it basically leads them down that direction. And then your video talks about whatever your video talks about. So if it was, the 5 things that landlord must know about tenants, you could then just change the title, have a thumbnail on YouTube, and it could be like how to avoid bad tenants if you're a landlord. But then the video is still the same, So that again is just then repurposing that one video that you've shot to use for a transcript. You just publish that on YouTube with a different thumbnail and just let it roll. The good thing about YouTube is it's there forever. So, as long as, again, you've got a good description, you've got some good keywords, some good hashtags in there, then you will get in the searches of the YouTube search engine and you'll come up. Now, you've probably heard this a million times before, but now Google shifted quite a few years ago where it used to have the 3 sponsored ads on the top, and then it used to have the sponsored ads down the side where Google AdWords people would pay for. They've got rid of the 3 at the top now, and the Google AdWords typically just sit down the right-hand side. And you'll notice, if you haven't already, you'll notice next time you go on Google and search something, that top bit that sits above the website searches is videos, and those videos all come from YouTube. So if you can create impactful videos when someone's saying, how does rent to rent work? Say it's a landlord and he types into Google, how does rent to rent work? Can't even say it. Then your video could potentially come up. Clicks on your video, ends up in your inbox, or he ends up watching you. He then goes onto your Facebook page, investigates your profile, looks at your Instagram, sees your Instagram stories of all the viewings you did the other week. all of a sudden he's in your world and he's getting more and more interested. It only takes the next video or the next quote card or the next top tip and go, I need to speak to this. And that could happen over a stage of events. Typically somebody has to have something like 7 to 9 touch points with a business before they will purchase. It's very rare that someone will just have one touch point and then go, okay, I'm ready to buy. Maybe on a lower ticket item, but not on a bigger ticket item. And if a landlord wants to rent you their property or sell you their property, or if you want to do deals with JV partners or, attract investor finance, that's not going to happen on a one touch point. That's going to be multiple touch points. And that's all you're trying to do with your marketing. Next one is a value add email broadcast. So, I talk about this value add all the time, giving a lot away. 80% of your stuff's just giving mass amounts of value out there so that people, when they're good and ready, will respond. 20% of it can be a pitch. So for every 10 emails you send out, 2 of them can be a straightforward pitch of bang, 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 and this is what we can do for you, and this is how you get it. For the rest of it, just go on your transcripts, have a look at it, pull out some good paragraphs, piece them back together. You might not want a 30-minute video written down on an email, would be a long email. So, you just want to pull the core elements out of it, the value add that it's going to give, put a few emojis in there and put it in your email database and then send it to your list. And this is why it's really important to be building a list of landlords, of estate agents, of developers, of investors all the time, and also have them segmented out. So when you want to do a value add email broadcast, which is for, say for me, if I want to get a developer's block often to manage on and talk to them about serviced accommodation, a lot of developers might not know about serviced accommodation. So I will do a value add about the capital allowances available on serviced accommodation for investors who are developing blocks of flats in X location. That could be the email. And then, from the video that I shot, and then Zach, you just muted. We good? Can you all hear me? Yeah, cool. Someone was getting shouted at. Anyway, so you can put a good email together and you can broadcast it to that one developers list, because obviously you wouldn't want to broadcast that to everybody. The more you can segment and the more you can be more targeted with your emails, the better response rates you're going to get. So long posts is pretty much as it says. So your video, not really condensed down that much. You'll just maybe take a few bits and bobs out of it and put it out there as a long post. You can, with all these long posts, you can put emojis in it, give it a bit of effect. One tip with emojis though, especially with Facebook, is don't use too many, because it does actually reduce the algorithm reach. So it will show your post to less people, but good emojis in the right place just really bring a post to life. And same with any Facebook ads that you're doing, in the description element, it does reduce it if you fill it full of emojis. But if you have them in the right place, it can really just make that difference and make it stand out. Next one, short posts, the exact opposite of long posts. So you're just going to pull out, maybe a paragraph's worth of content from your video that, tries to condense the whole video into one paragraph. And again, you've then got a short post. By the way, if you want any examples of this type of stuff, just jump all over my stuff and you'll see it. We do this day in, day out. If you haven't seen it already, then, have a look. If you have seen it but haven't noticed, now you'll probably start to notice. You'll probably see some posts tomorrow and you'll be like, oh, well, that's a short post. That's a long post. That's a top tip. So it's all structured in the right way and, it works. Instagram stories. Again, you can use quotes from your transcript, or you could, as I said before, you can reduce the video down to a very quick 15 seconds. Maybe it's just a key point in that video and you can post them as an Instagram story. And obviously you've then got Facebook videos as well. So you can condense a Facebook video, should be anywhere from about 1 to 3 minutes typically. So if you've got a 30-minute video, you need to get it cut down to 1 to 3 minutes. And then what you might do is you might then pad that video out with a bit more of a description about the video from the transcribed part of the video so that you can actually add some more content into that video. So they're typically the types of posts that you should be doing. And if you're consistent with this and you're consistent with your videos and creating them, you will have so much content that you will not know what to do with it. But the good news is I'm going to give you a quick peek into how we can do it. And also tomorrow, I'm going to give you basically my content machine, as I like to call it. And if I didn't have that, I'm not sure what I would do without it. It keeps us all in sync, and it makes sure that we take anything from an idea all the way through to production, scheduled, and then repurposed as well. So that template, I'm going to see if I can actually save it as a template to give to you on Friday, along with all the other bits and bobs that I've got. And then you can kind of just plug that in and use it as well. But when we are shooting these videos and or you're out and about, I collect a lot of lifestyle images. I take it to a different level now where I will actually like go on a photo shoot day, and I'll take a photographer with me and we'll go and shoot photos all over the place. Or if I'm going on a video production day, because I'll do a video production day and then that's me done pretty much for 6 months to a year's worth of content, unless I want to add things in. So I just basically rock it out in one day and then I hand it over to my team. Obviously, I'm blessed that I've got the team now, but I did have to do all this myself at the beginning. So, you know, I have been in your shoes. But if you, even as daft as, you know, getting your partner, getting your kids, getting whatever, and just getting them to take some photographs of you in various different lifestyle settings, and then you can actually add a lot of the lifestyle images will support some of the short posts or the long posts, you know, and, you know, as you can see here, we've got the quote cards going on, and then obviously the lifestyle images above them in the descriptions, they will have short posts or long posts from the video transcripts based on the cold, warm or hot titles that I chose, and then the videos that I shot from that. So, you know, it all ties in. It all ties in, and the more you tie it in, the easier it becomes. And then once you put a system around it all, you know, I am massive on systems and processes, because I don't think you can scale a business to dizzy heights unless you've got systems and processes in place from an early stage. So I'm all about it. I'm all about automation, and that's what we try and do. Every part of the business is just make it as streamlined as possible, so we can, you know, get the content out there. We're not having to scratch around and think, oh, what content do I need to post there? Or I haven't got that picture, but I'm not dressed, so I can't go and shoot one. You know, this, that, and that. We're prepared, you know, and you know, I think the saying, failure to prepare, prepare to fail, whatever it is, you know, it's so true. You know, so we're never scratching around for content. We've always got far too much content, but that's great because we'll just continue to pick it out the queue, and then we take it through the various stages. Everyone takes ownership of it and we get it created. So start getting your cameras out, start getting people to follow you like you're a superstar and getting popped. And, you know, it is quite funny when someone's taking photos of you in some back alley in Gateshead and you've got a suit on, you know, and they're wondering what the hell you're doing. But, you know, you quite quickly get over that, and you just crack on and get it done. But to start off with, you know, you'll be able to get a lot of lifestyle images from just, you know, probably your phone. You've probably got a lot already. You know, if you just sifted through your phone and just pulled them into a folder, you'd probably have a lot already to start off with. So something to think about. So the final part for tonight is kind of a planning system. So I am going to give you all these breakout documents, but as I said, I've got a template which I'm going to try and get for you tomorrow, see if I can save it, and hopefully that'll help. And that is not on Google Sheets, by the way. That's on a platform that we use. But in essence, from the video title, we create 4 quotes. We then have a Facebook profile, post Facebook, bang, bang, bang. And we have a system. So this is kind of the basics of the system. And then the system goes into a software. And then the software is kind of how we go from idea all the way through to scheduling. So I'm going to give you all these documents, and then you'll be able to start, you know, planning it out. Because if you're not organized, you seriously can't do this game. Like, you cannot market if you're not organized, or you'll never have enough content to post, you know, or if you've got enough content and you're not organized, you'll end up posting the same things twice in a row, or you'll just like miss things, or you've got to be organized with it. And as I said, if you want a scalable business, especially a business that you ultimately are not working in operationally, hopefully you're getting to hear the way I'm talking now. Like, I do not operate my business. I leave that to my team, but I did have to operate it at the beginning, and I had to put the systems and processes in place that worked for them, but also worked for me, so I can still monitor what's going on to be able to make sure that the systems and the processes are working and the business is still moving forward. So it's really important to get this ironed out in your head from day one. When I talk to my students about, setting up service accommodation businesses, the minute they get their first one, I'm like, start documenting what you're doing, because eventually you're going to pass that over to somebody. It's better to do it now than do it when you're busy with 5 or 10 properties and you've got a lot of other things to do. Do it now. And they're a bit like, well, and honestly, it's the best advice I can give you. Start documenting your systems out from day one. So final bit, obviously, if quite a few of you didn't do a video, so you're going to have to go and do your video. Once you've done it, bang it into the Facebook profile group if you're feeling comfortable. If not, no worries at all. Just trust it and get comfortable with it. Honestly, it's a great thing, and it is a powerful tool. If you have done it, or you have done one in secret and you haven't put it out into the public, then put it through rev.com, and then get your transcript. And then I'd like you to choose 3 quotes, and I'd like you to post them in the group under the homework task. And the idea of this is that to surprise you about, that you will actually come up with quotes. Most people think, oh, well, quotes are only for legendary famous people and, politicians and presidents and things like that. But when you start speaking into a video and giving advice and adding value, you do tend to come out with like quirky quotes, and, some of them are great. So that's the idea of this. Get it posted in the group, and yeah, and I'll take some questions now if anybody does have any. I have 2 businesses, a training and personal development business and a property sourcing business. I have a business profile for each on Instagram, and then I have a personal brand Insta. So far, I've just used personal on top. Personal development stuff. I don't really know whether I should talk properly on that page too, or will that confuse people, and should I? My good friend Dick Sesh, who I had on my podcast this afternoon, he is a property developer and a personal fitness coach. So he does both very well, blends the 2 very well together. And, I think there's no shame in, mixing businesses up. I think, at the end of the day, it shows that you're a serial entrepreneur, and that's fantastic. You've just got to get the blend of content right. So make sure that so you'll see on my profile. So, obviously I have my coaching business, and I also have my property business. And I try and kind of mix the 2 up on my profile still. So, I still, sometimes I might just share stuff from Luke Holmes' page for my property side of things, but then sometimes I will, just put property stuff out there, I think this week we've got stuff about, videos from Dubai and things like that coming up, because obviously we're pushing hard over there. And, so it's a mixture of both. And as I say all the time, put it out there, and the people will tell you whether it's good or not. The people will engage and like it and comment on it if they like it. If they don't like it, they'll not do that. So it's really, just listen to what the market's telling you. But I wouldn't have any problem in doing it. What I do find and I did this at the beginning, and something to think about, and I'm still actually tweaking with it on my personal profile, but the Luke Holmes one, I think I've got nailed. But the appearance of your Instagram feed, try and make it look as professional as you possibly can. Don't just post random content. Like, you'll start to see there's like a structure between how we post stuff now. There's an order of things. There is an app you can actually like post your Instagram stuff to, and it'll actually show you what your feed's going to look like ahead of time. But, you don't need to go to the depths of that. But when you are mixing brands, I would make sure you have your schedule. So are you going to go sort of property post, fitness post, property post, fitness post, or are you going to do 3 fitness posts, 3 property posts, 3, so you want to have it a bit in sync rather than just random, and there's no real theme to the channel. And probably the same on on your Facebook profiles. Obviously, naturally, you'd probably have 2 different pages. So it is just a case of kind of working with what you've got and seeing what comes from it. That would be kind of my advice on that one. Do I use paid Facebook, Google ads? If so, what stage would you recommend to use it? If not, why? I do and I don't. I go on and off with it, depending on where we are business-wise, how far behind our targets we are. I use I have had some very, very successful rent-to-rent campaigns where I was generating leads for about £2 and generated a lot of them, and that created a lot of deals for us, which was good. A great return on investment on that, much better than sort of your landlord letters that many people teach to use. I have also had some bad ones, you know, where leads were up sort of £25, £26 a lead. So, you know, it just depends on the market. What I will do now is I think as you become more of an authority in your space, I'll do kind of Facebook ads now to lead people into I think the last one I did a developers webinar about 3 weeks ago, where we got, you know, we targeted developers and investors on Facebook, and then I ran a webinar to them. And we're doing the same in Dubai on May the 4th, I think it is. So right now we've got stuff targeting that sort of funnel. And that works for me because then I get on a Zoom call like this and I present to them the services. So that's kind of with Facebook ads. There are a few ways to do it. Obviously, you can just do a straight lead form and get a lead and you get a number and you ring them. The quality of that will really depend on how targeted your audience is, how good your messaging is, how clear your messaging is. You know, even if we just think back to the task that I set you on day one about writing a post, most people, you know, well, all people had a fantastic start at it, but there were some where I commented on to say, you know, I think that you've nailed it in terms of the sections, but I'm a bit unclear what your service is. So if you're running a Facebook ad and you're thinking, okay, I've written that well and each point's great, but I'm not sure what your service is, I might click on it and fill a lead in, and that's going to cost you money. But then you ring them up and they're like, yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about, or I haven't got a property, or, you know, I've got no money, or whatever it might be. So it's not as straightforward as kind of yes or no. I've probably spent, I don't know, the thick end 25 grand on mentorships around Facebook paid ads and Facebook marketing and just, you know, that sort of thing. So I feel like I know it quite well, although it is an ever-changing game. You know, so when to use it is probably later on in your journey. I'd say when you've got some good cash flow coming in, probably when you've got about 5 grand net a month coming in, then you could maybe start allocating 10% off to Facebook ads, and then you could be testing it. But I would say don't go into that lightly. I would invest. It's like anything. It's like, you know, don't just jump into a property strategy without, you know, getting good education around it first, or you'll make a lot of mistakes and you'll cost yourself a lot more money than the training would have cost. Facebook and Google ads is exactly the same. I probably wouldn't recommend Google ads for a while, if at all. You can do a lot more with Facebook. I think property leans itself more to Facebook. So especially for the kind of level you're at now, whereas I guess once you've scaled a bit more and you maybe want to try and attract some more developers and investors, you might then start hitting Google, because they don't typically hang out on Facebook. But for now, I would probably just stick with the generic stuff. While I'm sort of what we're talking about here, getting your posts out and getting your engagement that way for free. All your expenses is your time, and, you know, getting it all put out there. But once it's put out there, then you should be fine with that. So that would be my advice anyway. Any more questions before we shoot off? Put a 1 in the chat if you've enjoyed so far and you think that your business is going to move forward. Cool. So tomorrow is the penultimate day, and tomorrow for me is the golden goose, or whatever they call it, the piece de resistance. I'm gonna give you my content machine. Now, this is a system I've worked hard on, and it really works very, very well. So I would encourage you to make sure you are here for that. And then on Friday, I'm going to show you how it all pieces together so you can actually start, monetizing it and scaling very quickly. So, so we'll be back again tomorrow at 7. Obviously, your homework task will be up in the Facebook group in about 5 minutes time. And shoot your videos, get them revved. I appreciate that rev.com might not get back to everyone quickly. So, just try and get them done before tomorrow night's session. So, I can review a few. And, I'm glad you're all enjoying it. And I'm sure you'll get plenty of engagement on your stuff going forward and your businesses will move forward. But we do still have the final 2 days left, and they are the best 2 days. So I look forward to seeing you on Thursday and Friday. Take care, everyone.